So we are starting 2026 with a lot of interesting conversation. And the one that I think everybody should be a part of is a feedback concerning organic development. Organic development is not new. It is how our parents kept up with housing, but it hasn't made housing as affordable as we're presenting it. So true, organic development is not a new thing. But before I had my 1 or 2 cents, let's look into two things. The first is something called, and here, pardon my pronunciation, something called laissez-faire style of planning. And it basically means government sit back and allow the market to dictate what happens with development. And this is the major difference in how Lagos and even other African cities have typically grown and what organic development truly is. In most of these cases, Mr. A hears of an offer of land along Lagos Ibadan Expressway, even though the road to that land is not yet motorable. But because it fits his budget, he buys it and starts development. We've seen enough examples of this. One person there, another over there, and in most cases, because that land exists in the middle of nowhere, some people drop materials meters or kilometers away from their site because the road to the land is not yet motorable. That is how a lot of our cities have grown. Random development, particularly characterized by lack of government participation until when it is time to collect revenue. And that is the difference in the level or amount of government participation in that kind of development. What we have done that looks like organic development because it happens at the behest of the people is actually as a result of a lack of government participation. So that's number one. And number two comes to how land is used. And this is often a conversation around one, location, and two, what that land can be used for as a reason of its location or the other activities that are happening around it, which can be agricultural, commercial, industrial, public, or residential. And because this is a conversation around housing, let us keep this at residential and look at how development responds to land use and how land use under organic development stand in sharp contrast to how our planning has been set up to assess and use land. So the number one consideration for how we will use land is the kind of people that will want to have access to use such land. And this is where social and economic class, where we start talking about high income, middle income, or low income. Then after that, we then ask what population of people do we want to fit into certain land size in this area. This is what is called density. And also it has high, middle, and low. So stay with me because once we set that also, we then look into how should they build? Should they do high rise, mid rise, or low rise? That is the number of floors that can be built. So you see how already the nature, the type, the class of development is already based on the income of people, their population, and what's the development pattern that we are going to allow them use. And all this information is coded and put together into what we call zoning. So why does all of this matter? It matters because zoning is how we achieve fairness in planning. Is how we balance the needs of those who want premium real estate, those who want investable real estate, commercial real estate, and those who just want a roof over their head. And so, in response to thinking that Lagos has grown by organic development, what organic development does is irrespective of the class, the density, or the development pattern, everyone has equal access to land, property development, and home ownership as it fits their realities. And so, again, to Lagos, or which part of the city actually allows people that fall within the low income, which are typically the higher population density, and who by that would need low to mid-rise development pattern. Which part of the city allows the people to access this as it fits their income, even if it involves strict government monitoring, control, or government participation. I hope this helps.